I bet you didn't know just how close the world came to a major crisis in the South China Sea. Welcome back to the channel, bringing you the latest news from around the world. First of all, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. On June 17, 2024, the tropical sun beat down on the South China Sea. A routine resupply mission for the Philippines was underway to the BRP Sierra Madre. Suddenly, Chinese Coast Guard vessels appeared, larger and more aggressive than ever. Radio warnings from the Philippine side were met with silence, then a chilling response: turn back or face the consequences. The Chinese ships began their dangerous maneuvers, cutting across the bows of the smaller Philippine boats. Then came the impact. A steel hull rammed a Philippine supply vessel. Chaos erupted as Chinese personnel boarded the damaged craft, seizing equipment and supplies. Several Filipino sailors were injured in the melee. This was a brutal act of intimidation, a geopolitical struggle reaching a terrifying new peak. The incident was a stark demonstration of China's willingness to use force to assert its claims. For the Filipino crew, the mission was a failure, forced to retreat. The encounter sent shockwaves through Manila and across the world. The images of the collision were undeniable proof of a dangerous escalation. This was a direct assault on Philippine sovereignty. The events of that day marked a turning point. They pushed the Philippines to a critical crossroads, forcing it to make choices that would define its future. The fragile peace in one of the world's most vital waterways was shattering. The world watched with alarm. For years, these encounters had been tense standoffs. But this was different. This was physical violence. The clash was the result of China's new domestic law, Coast Guard Order No. 3. Effective June 15, 2024, it grants the Chinese Coast Guard authority to detain foreign vessels. This move attempts to rewrite international maritime law, turning the South China Sea into a zone of Chinese control. In September 2023, Beijing published a new national map with a 10-dash line, expanding its claims. Chinese vessels anchored a monster ship at Sabina Shoal, unfurled a flag on Sandy Cay. The use of military-grade lasers and water cannons became the new normal. China's strategy is clear: to use force and harassment to make it impossible for the Philippines to exercise its rights. Every mission now carries the risk of confrontation. China rejects the 2016 tribunal ruling and is determined to control the South China Sea. The sea is now a stage for a relentless power play. The Philippines is not standing alone against a hostile neighbor. Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Manila is building a network of security partners. The strategy: if China won't respect international law, a coalition must uphold it. The Philippines is actively courting allies, creating a squad of nations for a free Indo-Pacific. The cornerstone remains the alliance with the United States, but Manila is diversifying. A reciprocal access agreement with Japan allows Japanese troops to train on Philippine soil. Australia and New Zealand have also stepped up their engagement. Canada and France are expected to finalize defense agreements. This web of agreements enhances interoperability and sends a message to Beijing. This network is about more than military hardware. It's about shared values. The Philippines cannot match China's might alone, but with allies, it raises the stakes for aggressors. It ensures the Philippines won't be isolated in defending its sovereignty. The U.S. has reinforced its alliance with the Philippines with military hardware and funding. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement expanded U.S. access to Philippine bases. In April 2023, 4 new sites were added, strategically positioned near Taiwan. Washington pledged $500 million in military funding to modernize the armed forces of the Philippines. The U.S. Army deployed its new Typhoon missile system to the Philippines. This system gives the alliance a powerful long-range precision strike capability. The Mutual Defense Treaty applies to attacks on Philippine assets in the South China Sea. President Marcos stated that the death of a single Filipino soldier would invoke the treaty. This renewed American presence provides a vital security backstop against Chinese aggression. For Beijing, it is seen as a provocative encirclement. China views the new bases and missiles as offensive platforms. This fuels a dangerous cycle of escalation. The Philippines has become the central stage for the superpower rivalry. Each move by one side is seen as a threat by the other. The stakes have never been higher. While tensions flare at sea, another battle is waged in international law and diplomacy. The Philippines is mobilizing legal tools to defend its territory. In November 2024, new maritime laws were passed. Manila is considering filing a new international legal case against China. This legal offensive aims to reaffirm the 2016 arbitral ruling. China declared new territorial baselines around Scarborough Shoal. ASEAN has been ineffective, unable to take a firm stand. The bloc's paralysis leaves individual members to fend for themselves. The silence from ASEAN creates a diplomatic vacuum. Rising tensions and the risk of miscalculation fill the void. The Philippines stands at a perilous crossroads, its fate intertwined with global competition. President Marcos must balance nationalist sentiment against economic risks. The Luzon Economic Corridor aims to counter China's influence. For Filipinos, national pride and sovereignty are on the line. Concerns about U.S. reliability loom with potential policy shifts. The South China Sea is a tinderbox, with conditions for miscalculation. A single mistake could trigger a treaty obligation and conflict. The question: can diplomacy uphold international law and deter aggression? Or are we sliding toward a conflict no one wants? The world must not look away.